Love is Blind Brazil season 4. Oh my gosh, it was insane. And I need to tell you all the things, as it's totally going to help you. It is absolutely, without a doubt, going to help you on your journey to find your person, to see what are the red flags that some of these people completely missed. It will help you identify massive red flags that for sure you may have come across or will come across, so you can avoid some of these huge mistakes that some of these people have made on the show. And also what the green flags look like and how beautifully, some of the couples are and how they connected. Okay, so let's get into it. By far, Leo and Vanessa, you could just tell from the jump, like from the very beginning, how they connected emotionally through the wall. They never saw each other, but they were so aligned. They talked about things that really mattered. And she mentioned her faith, and that really resonated with him. And this is something where I'm really about too. I don't think you need to believe in God to find love, or everyone has to believe in God, but it's so important where you and your partner are aligned with, what you do believe in to a certain extent. And so, her sharing that part of herself, and he was so aligned to it, and they trust in the universe, and they believe in God, and they want to raise their kids like that. Those are things that you have to talk about, and they did. And they're just an amazing couple from the beginning. They were super, always making each other a priority, how they acted, how they showed affection. They were crazy about each other. They had that chemistry too. They had no issues in the bedroom whatsoever. That comes up with someone else that I'm going to talk about in a second. But those kind of things are so important. And so there were no red flags with them. Absolutely nothing. When they met her mother, his mother, she was just adored her and was so supportive. And then her dad, even though he's so strict, he trusted her and supported her, and he asked him for her hand, and it was just the sweetest thing ever. Like, honestly, the whole process with Leo and Vanessa, it was just so beautiful. So the emotional connection was there, the physical connection, the best friend vibes. They put each other first. They adored each other, hands down. Like, that is the role model, like inspiration for you guys when you're watching the show. Yes. Okay, but now we have to talk about the things that went awfully wrong for other people, because this is probably what you're seeing more in your life, right? So this is where I kind of want you to look at Leo and Vanessa, so your brain has evidence of like, oh my God, this is how that looks like. You may have not even had a successful relationship ever, or let alone an emotional connection like that, and I want you to see it. I want you to see the chemistry between them too. Like, truly, that's how Will and I are. My husband and I, we are best friend vibes, but you also have that crazy chemistry that's always been there. And we're still married. It's going to be 17 years this December, and we're still crazy about each other. Like, so that is so important for you to know, that you don't sacrifice something and, I guess, you just never have chemistry. I guess you don't find them attractive. I guess you never have sex. Like, no, none of that's all bullshit. Like, you have it all. If you don't have it all, you're settling for the wrong person. Okay, so let's talk about who settled. there's so many people on the show that settled. It was insane. Okay, Patrick, they used to call him whatever, Patrick, him, and Marilia, they both, I feel like Patrick was just like a man child. And there's two things that he said, you guys, literally two things that I was like, ew. Bye-bye. These are bye-bye moments, honestly. When he said, I'll have grandkids, however many my mom wants to pay for. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting such loser vibes from him. Just by that one comment alone, I'm like, I'm done. The other thing he did was put the ring on his necklace. Another bye-bye moment. Like, what are we doing? And then the third most gross thing, I was like, what? On the wedding day, he says, I've never had a day that was just in my honor. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? That's just, he is so self-absorbed, loser, all about himself. Like, does this mean he's a bad human? No. I just think he's a bad partner. He's just all about himself. He's selfish. He's all about himself. And like what you can learn from this is do not do what Marilia did. She was like, oh, I'll have future Marilia deal with that. These are future Marilia problems, not for me. This is where she went wrong. This is where, you know, when you really know your worth and you've been through all these things in the past, which she talked about, she's now just going with the flow. And this is where people are going freaking wrong. Don't go with the flow. This is where you wake the hell up. And if you're like really trying to have different results, then do not just go with the flow and do whatever your subconscious thoughts are just guiding you to. You know, she probably settled in the past and she's settling again for Patrick. And I don't think it was cute. And I don't think it was fun. They both, you know, at the wedding, they're like, not yet. They both said it. Like, instead of saying I do, they're like, they both said not yet at the same time. And I just feel that they're taking marriage and it's like kind of like a joke. They're taking it in stride and all it's fun and games. And, you know, we're going to be friends forever. And guess what? At the freaking reunion, she's like, we're not friends. They're not even friends. Oh, we want to do this experience together. I'm like, well, you know what? You're full of shit. I honestly I truly feel like the show, I love the idea and the concept of the show. It's about, you know, can you emotionally connect with somebody, see how aligned you are, fall in love without ever seeing them. And they never did. They never fell in love on the other side of the wall. They didn't. They just wanted to do this show, you know, and get whatever out of it, you know. And I just didn't like how they approached it. I don't. It's like, I'm the type of person that, yeah, you make the most of situations and be positive, half glass full, but that's not what was happening. I feel like their whole thing was like a sham. It was all bullshit. And I never believed it. And, you know, so if you do watch Patrick and Marilia, like, did that remind you of someone? Did Patrick because Patrick reminded me of some of my ex-boyfriends, like 100%, some of my loser ex-boyfriends, right? So like, this is where you ask questions and see, oh my God, they're a loser, bye. Like, don't be oh, I have my shit together. He's a child. Let me help him. No, you know, Marilia said he's sleeping all day because he's a loser. This is what happens. And this was her moment. She had so many moments to be bye and she didn't. So it's like, give me a break. And then like you're just showing people how to settle. And oh, it's fun, right? Quote unquote. It's not fun. That's bullshit, because you're only keeping yourself, digging yourself into that hole that you know, tell yourself deep down that really it's so hard out there. There's nobody out there. I guess I'll just have this. This is fun. It's not fun, Marilia. And you're showing that you're settling for bullshit. And don't kid yourself, you know? So yeah, moving along, Renata is another person that, oh my God, I was so cringe with her. I just was. I'm like, ew. She was like, first of all, the vows that she said to Alexander were copied. They weren't even her own words. She revealed on the reunion. I'm like, what is wrong with this girl and she copied also Marilia's. Like inside the pods, Marilia had a song for Patrick and Renata copied the song. It's like, get your own thing. I don't know. I just feel like Renata, I don't like her, but you know, as a partner for anybody. But what's even more important is she, on the reunion, was saying everyone should be more like her because she is showing so much self-worth. And that is bullshit. Like, this is where I want you guys to hear me. Her actions speak so loudly. And I don't know if you've noticed that or not, and I want you to see it for yourself, is that she is saying, I'm so amazing. I am so, I'm vain, I'm beautiful, and I'm amazing. And Alexander, if you're not amazing, I'm out of here. She said that in the pods. And it really showed who she really is. She's all superficial. It's all superficial for her. It didn't feel emotional, like connection, depth. It didn't feel like that. It just felt all surface bullshit. It felt like that in the pods, and it felt like that in the real life when they met. And then she's like, oh, he's exactly how I imagined him, because he's like good looking. And now she's going to be all in. She met, what I really kind of get upset about is that she met his son. and he's like a little boy. I'm like, dude, don't mess around with, single parents that have kids, and you're in it for like the wrong reasons, or you're in it for some superficial bullshit. Like, I don't think she knows and really truly understands what it is to have an amazing, healthy, loving relationship where you do have the chemistry, but you also have the emotional connection and you're aligned. I don't think she's ever had it, and I don't think she knows how to get it. And no one's calling her out on it. And well, I am like right now, but she's like, kidding herself. Like, everyone should have my sense of self-worth. She is now currently, listen to this, okay, with Alexander, but they're not together officially. It's a non-monogamous relationship. They don't live together, but they see each other and do whatever. Alexander had said when they were, outside the pods, on the show, he saw the bed that they were going to sleep in. He's like, oh, this is big enough for more than 2 people, like 3 people. He made a comment like that. People tell you who they are. A guy that is super intentional and committed and wants a monogamous relationship would never say that, not even as a joke. There's always truth in those jokes. And what's her face, Renata, do? Laugh it off. Ha ha ha, everything's perfect. And it's not. Like, he's telling you who he is, and you're not paying attention. You're sweeping it under the rug because you want it to work so badly. And at the end of the day, you're just wasting more time, and you're digging yourself deeper into, oh my God, it is so hard. Men all suck, la la la. But you suck. Alexander doesn't suck. Alexander's telling her who he is, and she is accepting it, tolerating it. She's doing the relationship on his terms. And so, no, Renata, I don't think that anyone should be like Renata, honestly. If you have an ounce of self-worth and this is what I want, this is what I'm worth, and I'm not going to settle for some half-ass bullshit that's convenient to you where you can eat your cake and have it too, bye-bye. She would have said bye-bye to him. But she doesn't. Because why? She doesn't feel like she's enough. Deep down, she's scared shitless. She's scared she's going to be alone. She's scared that she's going to end up with nobody. She's scared for whatever, and she just stays there. So no, do not do as Renata does. It's crazy. It's like so shocking to me that she was like, tooting her own horn. And I'm like, that is beyond bullshit. So no. And then we got to talk about Ingrid. Seriously, you guys, what happened with Ingrid and Leandro on the reunion? Like, this is going to be like, it triggered me. And just so you know, if you haven't seen the show and the reunion, if you've ever been in a sexual assault, some kind of traumatic experience, rape, anything like that, you will be triggered 100%. And the way that it was handled on Netflix, it was ridiculous. Honestly, it really was. And so, like, it's so hard to even talk about it and give it its justice, because it was, when I was watching it, I was so, like, I couldn't even sit and hear it, and I was so triggered by it. And I was like, I can't believe this. It was so heartbreaking to hear Ingrid share how, they both he struggled with, in the bedroom when they were first together outside the pods, and they went off to live together, and they talked about that. And she was trying to be supportive of him because he's a black man, and a lot of people have these stereotypes like he should be, great in bed, and he wasn't. And so she was trying to help him and through it. So between us, like, I need to tell you that this is where I would have been like a bye-bye a moment. It really is. And so I don't know what you think, of that. But for me, when you know exactly what you want in a partner, if someone can't get it up in the bedroom and is having issues and he hasn't figured out his shit, this is where I'm like, bye-bye, don't. Like, you're not, like, I just feel like we're always like trying to help people. We're trying to fix people. We're putting all this energy into it. They need to already arrive at your door, like, already heal that shit. So he has clearly gone through some trauma, and he hadn't gone to therapy. He hadn't fucking fixed it. And now we have Ingrid trying to help him. And so this is where, honestly, do I think that, like, I just think Ingrid is such a beautiful human, and so many of you are, and we all are, and we're always trying to help people, and we see their potential and how great. But this is where I want you to put yourself first and make yourself a priority. If someone isn't, has their issues and they're not able to, finish in the bedroom, get it up in the bedroom, have sex with you, and you guys actually both enjoy it, and you're both excited about it, and you have that chemistry like Vanessa and Leo, then stop, like, get out, bye-bye. But she stayed by him, and what she shared on the reunion was gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. What he has done to her. Once they got married, they were off the show. No filming or anything, but it was at nighttime when she was sleeping. She was sharing right there on the reunion. It was so powerful, and it took so much courage. And I applaud her for sharing it, honestly, that he was taking, she didn't say the details of it, but basically he didn't respect her at night, and he was trying to work out his problems while she was asleep. And she would say no, and she left the bed. She didn't feel safe with him. She ended up sleeping on the floor in the living room, and that never stopped him, and her saying no didn't stop him either. And the way that she shared it, it was just, oh my gosh, you guys, it's just so heartbreaking what she's gone through. And that piece of shit, Leandro, is so disgusting of a human being, how he sat there and he's like, I already apologized a few times about this. I'm like, oh my God, like, why isn't he in jail? Like, wait a second, I actually want to know, like, I think, and I was Googling this, like, did she press charges? Why isn't he, so, like, I believe she did press charges, but I don't know why he's not there. Either way, like, they're not together obviously anymore. But I am like, my heart goes out to Ingrid. I do feel it took so much courage to actually speak out about it. I know that I've been through a traumatic experience that I rarely ever talk about it, but I've gone to therapy and I have healed that, and I will definitely have an episode or do something about it, because I do think that so many of you have gone through similar awful traumatic experiences where you trust somebody or you're violated and you are raped or you're assaulted, and all of that is so important for people to talk about. And so I love Ingrid for sharing it, for talking about it, and like fearlessly, sharing that with the world. And Leandro is disgusting piece of shit. And there's like no, there's no way that he should. I just like the way that they handled it. He was like, okay, she couldn't sit there anymore. She had to excuse herself. And then the hosts of the show, they're like, okay, Leandro, I guess, thank you for being here. I think you're going to have to go now. It's like, what? What is like, police, get the police, like, take his ass to jail. Like, what are we doing here? And she said something so powerful too. Ingrid was like, you have 3 sisters. Like, how, like, how can he not know, like, how to respect a woman? And you need, it has to be consensual. And he was like trying to fix his problem of getting it up while she was sleeping by forcing her. It's like, to do it. I read somewhere to forcing oral and forcing penetration while she was sleeping. And then she would wake up to this. It's like a fucking nightmare. It's so crazy. So, oh God, even talking about this, I have like chills. It's like just this chilling nightmare. So, yeah, as you watch that, if you haven't seen it yet, yeah, it will trigger you for sure, especially the way she communicates it. But it's so powerful. And Netflix dropped the ball on how they handled it for sure. But, I do think there's so much to learn from that, from Ingrid's experience. And this is something where I hope that you can take something away from it too. I think, the last couple that was like Ariela and Ivandro, it was a hot mess too. Like everything was a mess, you guys. Like literally, I feel like if I can turn back time, would I see it again? Like I feel like the only couple that was worth, an inspiration for you guys is Leo and Vanessa. But I do feel like you could learn so much from the other couples, because it's, if you see the guy that you're dating or someone that you're dating is acting like that, like Ivandro did not share inside the pods that he had this extra kid. Like he's like, oh yeah, I got this girl pregnant when I was like 20 or super young, and I haven't been there for her at all, for this kid, and now I'm gonna be there I'm trying to work it out like 11 years later. How do you not share that with somebody? And so when he finally shared it right before the wedding, Ariela was like super triggered with that, because she's been with liars in the past. She's been with people that hide things. Also, that when she looked at his phone and he was like, oh, look, when they got out of the pods, some girl was like, hey, baby, or he said, hey, baby, I'm leaving today. So she's like, wait a second. Ariela's like, wait, you are calling someone baby the day that you're going to Love is Blind. Like, what is this? Is it a relationship? He's like, oh, no, it's not a relationship. We're just hooking up. And she was like, this is bullshit. Now, Ariela, the way that she reacted, I think so many of you guys may actually resonate with that, because she got so anxious. She got so triggered. All her insecurities came out. She totally didn't handle it in the best way. And I feel that like she has massive trust issues, and she has been in toxic relationships. And I would not be surprised if she gets in yet another toxic relationship. I don't think that she has truly like healed. Like she's in it. She's still bringing all the shit from the past into her present. And the good news is that she broke off that wedding with Ivandro, but the way it was handled was like cringe. Ariela was a hot mess, just a hot mess. And I feel like when you have clarity on your worth, you believe that there's someone that's aligned with you, and you see this guy isn't it. He's lying by omission. He's leaving things out. You don't trust him. You say, this isn't aligned to me. Bye. That's it. But the way that she was crumbling, no, and screaming and doing all this shit, it was just like the way that she is toxic. And this is where, if you're watching the show and you're like, oh, that reminds me of me. Like, well, that means you may very well be a toxic. You have these toxic traits. And when you're with someone that's triggering that, like you have to be able to recognize it and say, okay, I need to step aside and do my own work, not just go into another relationship. Because let's say that you were to find a secure guy and someone that is aligned to you. If you haven't healed your shit, your toxicity will come up. You may self-sabotage and destroy a possibly amazing relationship. So yeah, like these are all amazing. Like even though we have like 4 failed freaking relationships, I think that so many of these different people on the cast on the show, if you connect to Ariela, it's like, oh crap, you got trust issues. Are you still like that? Are you still triggered? Do you still navigate things like that? And check yourself in with therapy, seriously. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is like, knowledge is power. Like, no, like be willing to like call yourself out on that. So yeah, she's a hot mess. And Ivandra didn't like either. I'm like, ew. And even his family, I wasn't feeling. Was it his family that didn't feel? No, they were okay. I think they were okay. I can't barely remember. But the point is, Ariela, if she reminds you of you, whoops, that means, oh shit. And if Ivandro reminds you of you, that means you're lying about things and omitting things, and you're scared that you're going to scare them off. No. Like, you got to be straight up about things from the jump, from the beginning, from the first date. Tell people whatever it is. Oh, yeah, I'm a single parent to these 3 kids. And one of them, actually, I really haven't shown up for. I'm actually trying to work that out. Seriously. Don't tell me, some people are like, oh, my God, that's too much too soon. No, it's not. It's not too much for the right person. Okay, so let me know what you guys thought of Love is Blind Brazil season 4. Tell me on the YouTube comments. Reach out to me on Instagram, the Jackie Loor. I have. Will I take it back? Like, you know, if I can go back in time? No. I think that there's a lot of lessons to learn for you guys. I feel like I did my homework for you guys. I do think that if any of these things that I mentioned resonate with you, I do think it's worth watching the show. I do, for you guys to like watch it, just to see it and learn from it. Okay. But anything else that you guys want to talk to me about, reach out to me on Instagram, the Jackie Loor. I'm always here for you guys, and on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Don't settle for anything less than crazy love, because it has to be crazy love or nothing. Thank you.